The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 136 of the Daily Mother Swole. Thank you for joining me on YouTube as well as the podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So remember, you can find this in audio form as a podcast. You can also catch it live on Facebook, Periscope, and Busker, and of course, as well on YouTube. Some of my other social media links, you can find me at Swolenormous on Snapchat, my Facebook page, Swolenormous. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Musically, also at Swolenormous. If you're interested in some extra private training and some group training, I have an accountability group where we do strength and program design, nutrition, information, and program design there as well. Whatever you need as an individual. We do corrective exercise, we do movement pattern assessments, all sorts of different things, and it's developing all the time. So you can find that on my website, Swolenormous.com. It's called Swolenormous Premium. Today, it's Monday, and I want to talk about Monday GUNday. If you didn't know, now you know. I have big arms, and I have big arms for a reason because I train them properly, and I've trained them consistently for years. Now, a couple of things that I want to discuss when it comes to Monday GUNday. I want to just kind of break down what the arms are. A lot of people want big arms. Even women, they want arms. They want less arm fat. They want less arm flab when they're waving their arms. Guys want big arms because it looks powerful. It looks good. So why do we want big arms? Because they're on top of our body. It shows power. We move with our arms. We do things with our arms. We do things with our hands. And a nice muscular arm is an extension of our body, and it just shows power, strength, and prowess. And it's very functional. It's very functional to have strong arms, but remember, it's an extension. So these things we call arms, the muscles oftentimes work as accessories to larger muscle groups on our torso, like the chest and the back muscles. I'm not going to get into the details of the names, but obviously there are strong muscles on the body. People like the chest, and we like back muscles, and those are generally primary movers, whereas the muscles in the arm work synergistically together to provide a lot of force, like pushing or pulling things, like climbing a tree and whatnot. If you agree, float some hearts on Busker and Periscope. Say what up. That's another way to say hi. Or if you like anything that I say, or when I make a topic point, I appreciate float some hearts, give me a thumbs up, and kind of like, rep that a little bit. So arms are a single joint exercise. Single joints are in the arms, the elbow. The elbow is the main joint for the arm, and also, of course, you have the shoulder. But when you're doing an arm exercise, like a tricep exercise, or you're doing a bicep exercise, it works on a single joint. It works on the elbow joint. The importance of this is it isolates one joint, which means all the stress and all the force from an exercise will be on that one joint, which is a good and a bad thing. They get worked. The arms get worked during other movements. So if you're doing a bench press, if you're doing chest pressing, upper body, if you're doing rows or pull downs or a pull up or a push up, you're using the shoulder and you're also using the elbow joint. You're using the biceps and the triceps in addition to the chest and the back. Because of that, you're getting a lot of work for the arms. So isolating the arms, doing curls, doing tricep extensions, you want to be careful with this as a beginner. Now, when I say beginner, I mean people that have really never worked out before. If you've worked out, now and again, fairly, somewhat consistently, you're not going to get traumatically sore by isolating your body parts. But if you're brand new to the gym, there's no reason for someone who's brand new to fitness to be doing bicep curls and tricep extensions. You really don't have to isolate. I'm not saying don't work those muscles. What I'm saying is you don't have to overload those muscles specifically to get results. You need to think about larger multi-joint larger compound movements, because that's going to help you get bigger quicker. That's going to help you see results quicker, coordination, and also the overload on individual muscles isn't necessary because your body, everything is new. So any kind of overload is going to be ridiculous, and it's going to be very stressful. You don't want to hurt yourself or get tendonitis or really traumatize the tissue. That doesn't make much sense. It's not necessary when you're starting out. So it's more for intermediate and up to isolate. You can pair the biceps and triceps, for example, with other body parts. So you've probably heard of, I'm going to do chest and triceps. I'm going to do back and biceps. You could do back and triceps. You could do chest and biceps. You could do them with another body part with a larger muscle group that also hits that same muscle. So chest works triceps synergistically. So you're already fatiguing the triceps, so why not do more extra? And then also you have back when you're working the biceps because you're pulling and you're flexing the elbow. So you could also add in some biceps after. Some people like to separate them and do arms on an entirely different day, which generally I do. I kind of do both. I might do them once or twice a week, so sometimes I do both. But you can also do biceps and triceps together, and there's, opposing muscle group. So it's a great superset. You go back and forth, do an exercise for for triceps, do an exercise for biceps. The superset factor going back and forth saves time. It's very effective and it feels great. And it's a real good way to work the arms. Depends on if you consider shoulders part of the arm. Similar concept. You could do supersets back and forth, or you do a triset or a triple set, however you want to call it. You can do a shoulder exercise and a bicep exercise and a tricep exercise, or any kind of combination there within, and you can do 1, 2, 3 and get the whole arm in one workout. Just be aware that you don't want to do arms on Monday and then chest on Tuesday. You want to give at least 48 hours between upper body strength training workouts, especially if you're beginner or intermediate. Maybe advanced, you can move from there, but it's really not smart because your arms are fatigued and they're recovering. Then you're just going to do another upper body exercise. You want to give them a day in between. Do legs or take a day off or do yoga or something like that is better. So the arms are synergistic with larger muscle groups like the chest and the back, so you don't have to work them isolated at the beginning. Some people don't work their arms at all isolated. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but they do get worked when you're doing a pushing or pulling movement. So at the beginning, when you're starting off training, you don't have to necessarily isolate. It's not wise. It'll cause more overload than help, and you're better off focusing on larger lifts like deadlifts or squats, rows, pull-ups, push-ups, things of that sort. If you're advanced, you can start thinking about doing arms twice a week or something like that, because at the same time, they are synergists, but they are also smaller muscle groups, so they'll recover faster in many ways. So you can do biceps sometimes. What I like to do is on chest day or back day, I'll do like what I call a tricep or bicep pump, where I'll do chest super hard, and at the end, I'll do 5 to 10 sets of really light high reps, like 10, 15 repetitions with really short rest, and just pump up the muscle. And I feel like that helps loosen up the muscle. It helps get some blood flow. It feels good. Get some transient hypertrophy. Get some nutrients in there. Get a good pump with a synergistic muscle, but not enough to really get sore. Not enough to really fatigue it to the point where I can't do biceps and triceps hard later in the week. So if I do chest and a tricep pump on Monday, and I do legs and do back and a bicep pump on Wednesday, and then let's say I do shoulders on Thursday, or take a day off or do yoga, and then I do bis and tris heavy on Friday, then that's a little bit more of a serious workout. I saw something about forearm training. This is really, I guess we could talk a little about forearms. I kind of separate that in terms of this conversation, but forearms are important. Some people don't work on forearms at all, but I think it's important to work on forearms. They're more, at the same time, they're very fatigued easily because they're smaller muscle groups. You have to be careful. High rep is great to start. I wouldn't start off doing heavy reps for forearms, but definitely to failure, get a good pump, do a few sets of curls. You can do the wrist rope. I think working forearm, it's a muscle, so it's important to work, but they are high output muscles in terms of like type 1 and like endurance fibers. That's why a lot of people have trouble growing the calves and the forearms, is because they're fat, slow twitch fibers, mostly because they perform a lot of activities for endurance. They're not meant to get massive, but I mix it up. Sometimes I go heavier, but within reason. There's no need to do 5 reps for forearms, but you can definitely do 8 to 10 or 15 to failure and do volume, and you can definitely see some great results that way. You can do grip strength and grip training, but most effective are going to be like the wrist curls and extensions, and I find those really effective. So there's different ways to do it. Grip training, farmer's walks are great. That's why they call them farmer's walks, like wheelbarrow holds. You just walk around with dumbbells holding them. It works the grip strength, which works the forearms, but taking the muscle through the full range of motion is really good as well. So do a combination, but play around with that, doing more frequency, but just be careful with the frequency. You don't want to overstress, and you don't want to cause tendinitis, because then it'll affect all your lifts, and it's not generally worth it. So forearms are great. I think you should work it. Every muscle should be worked. No muscle should be ignored. All muscles matter. Leave no muscle behind. I'll say for a couple minutes, if you have any immediate questions, remember to check out my social media channels, all the ones I listed at the beginning of the show: Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Musical.ly. I'm always live, 12 noon Eastern Time on Facebook, Periscope, and Busker, all at Swolenormous. And you can also find this on my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and like this video on my YouTube channel. You can also comment there, and I'll get back to you on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Swolenormous. I have almost 600 videos on there, so check them out. Great playlist, a lot of information, daily vlogs, driving while gaining, the Daily Swole. I have my Raw, my motivational series, and I have workout videos and such on there too as well. And you can also find this on podcast form on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher. So pretty much the Daily Swole is everywhere, and so am I. And the only reason I'm everywhere is because I'm so damn big, I have to be everywhere. It's just by default. So thank you for joining me for episode 136 of the Daily Mother Swole. I'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time for episode 137. Peace out. Enjoy your Monday.